Though I have heard that the Houlihan room has started to be a little dead since they added the waterfall cave and an extra 300 rupees. Speaking of which,
I was going to say, well, that knocks out needing to go to the Houlihan room right away.
so
You still might see a play, though, depending on if they want to make an early run to Sora.
yep, the 225 rupees there certainly doesn't hurt as far as getting a head start on Zora, which of course you need 500 rupees to purchase his item. So,
Yeah, it looks like Android just popped into Sanctuary, and then he's following the same route to South Kakariko.
Yep, both players have grabbed the item out of Link's house and will be going through a southbound check of Kakariko. Whoa,
Ooh.
that's the hook shot, isn't it?
That was the hook shot. That's going to be a big find. That's is an early item to help unlock East Death Mountain really early for these runners. That's going to be huge.
Indeed. Now, Android is making use of the bushes just south of the Haunted Grove, which have a 50% chance of picking up a bomb, and so when he sees that hook shot, he will be able to immediately grab it.
That'll be some time saver there for Android, already coming out with some more advanced strats. He's still going to make the smart play and check it, but wow, that's big. Won't have to go up and buy the bombs.
Meanwhile, Cookiepocalypse making that purchase, which is exactly what you expect, and he is going to quickly return to pick up that hook shot.
I don't know if I would necessarily immediately return, because you know where it's at and you don't need it immediately right now. But I can't necessarily fault him. I mean, it's a high item that you know you're going to need, so you might as well return.
And you don't want to accidentally forget it. That would be devastating.
And we've seen runners accidentally forget some items here in this tournament so far, unfortunately.
All right, so Android picking up his hook shot, and we'll be heading back into the village itself. I imagine he'll also be making a bomb purchase, or he could go into the hut and pick up bombs from the pots.
I imagine he'll end up making a bomb purchase. You already have 300 rupees. You're not hurting for rupees right now, but we'll see what he ends up doing. It's just routing the bomb purchase and with everything else that he has to do in the village proper.
And that is, in fact, what he's heading to do. One purchase of 10 bombs. Cookiepocalypse picking up another cache of rupees in the back of the tavern.
So hookshot and rupees so far, lots of money. We'll see. It's not necessarily part of the sequence if you get a lot of money to check Zora, but a lot of racers end up doing that. Oh!
There's the power glove. It's so bad, and right there in the chicken hut.
And that's 2 of 3 items required to unlock East Death Mountain, like I said, that has all that value that's up there. It'll be really surprising. I mean, it's a sequence break if you do it without the lamp, and they might do that anyway.
You could easily make that sequence break. It's a little easier with a sword, because you kind of want to be able to see where you're going.
Yeah, we've seen plenty of runners capable of doing it, and both of these runners are highly capable of being able to do it, I believe.
Yeah, the Old Man Dark Room is, in my opinion, something that everybody could learn pretty quickly.
Well, and we were seeing, I believe, before the match, Cookiepocalypse doing some practicing on some of the other minor glitches going on. So Cookie, we know, has at least gone through some of the practice rounds and is going to be a good competitor here.
Excellent. All right, so not a whole lot of value in Kakariko as well. However, Cookiepocalypse is now making his way into Blind's hut. 5 chests in here, and
Whoa!
We have Titan's mitts. So we're Moon Pearl away from Dark World accents.
Well, there's a fighter sword, so no worry there. That power glove, that's interesting. We'll like to see where some of the next few items are. Hammer, for example, where the next little bits that they're going to unlock are going to be.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Are progressive items dead? Are we just getting, are we just in a V18 seed now? Is that what's going on here?
Maybe. You never know. No, I mean, we're in a V26 seed. I'll be anxious to see what we have in map check coming on because, as we've seen in this tournament so far in V26, going into the Pendant Dungeons is still going to be a pretty solid move for most of these competitors.
Yep. I'm pretty sure that the rule is pendant ice always has an item. Like that's somewhere in the logic.
Feels like it, doesn't it?
Yeah. And also there is the standard meme, it is version 26, please go to Skullwoods.
Pretty much. An android going ahead and picking up the Fisher Price shield while Cookie walked around it. Interesting.
I mean, getting the shield and not getting the shield is like the time save from walking around it was so small, and there's a lot of little ancillary benefits from picking it up. Oh, look at
That's
that!
shovel. So we may have an Aghanim required seed. We don't know yet. That's the most frustrating thing.
Having a fetch quest item on the lumberjack ledge is about the most frustrating thing you can see.
You're going out of your way to try to get some sort of guidance as to whether or not something is going to be required, and all it does is make the picture that much more muddy.
Alright, so Cookiepocalypse is heading into the Uncle's Tunnel, where you would normally start your run if this were standard mode, but open mode has no such restriction.
Meanwhile, we see Android going ahead and making that play into Death Mountain. With that hook shot there, he'll be able to find a lot of treasures up there. We'll see if it has the value necessary.
Now, as previously stated, the tunnel there turns out to actually be the Tunnel of Love. Just 2 full hearts in that tunnel.
You know his uncle's in there, right?
I'm not going to elaborate on that one bit.
Fair enough. An android making quick work of that dark room. Very well played by him, and getting the blue mail in the process.
Nice, a nice change of clothes from the old man. I guess he's a tailor.
Maybe. Banana hat hype, though.
So, Android is making the interesting play to head to the east side of Death Mountain immediately without looking at Spectacle Rock.
It's an interesting play. It has more items, so the mirror has a higher likelihood of being on this side, particularly since it's locked behind the hook shot, which he already has. But it's also possible to be up there on that left-hand side. We'll just have to see if this gamble pays off for him.
So if you found, say, the hammer over here, it would actually be faster, because you could then jump down from Hera, right?
That's absolutely right. Update, Cookie actually picked up the Master Sword, so his second sword upgrade while in Escape.
I guess the Master Sword would have been helpful about 2 seconds before he got it, to more quickly dispatch that blue guard. So we're freezing the ball and chain guard with the hook shot.
Smart play, certainly.
Oh!
Boots.
What are those, ladies and gentlemen? The boots and the flippers.
4-foot gear for Android.
Yep. The flippers and the ether medallion and the fire shield up there on Death Mountain for Android412 or 412. I might just say it that way.
It's a lot of value up in that cave, as expected there. He's wondering what the next play is. Cookie will probably go over. Think he'll hit Bonk Rocks on his way up to Death Mountain. So Android doesn't have that much of the lead. We'll see if, in terms of getting the Death Mountain items, we'll see where he goes next.
Yeah, so, both players have the Titan's Myths, so they can access both of the so-called flanctuary items. the Bonk Rocks and the King's Tomb, which I would be tempted to do the King's Tomb first before going into the back end, just because it's a little faster, I would think. Oh, there's the silver arrows!
Yeah. I'll hope for the silverless Ganon seed. I'm sorry. Also, real quick shout out to our wonderful tracker here. He's having, Felix the cat, he's just having a heck of a time right now with all these items coming out.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you so much, Felix. Give him a follow, guys.
Alright, so Android will be picking up the boots and the Master Sword as well pretty shortly.
Well, he might be going into this first part. We'll see if he keeps on going through the rest of Escape.
It is entirely possible that he does not head into the escape. But with the sword and with 3 items in there, it seems likely.
Cookie taking the more standard mode traditional route now, South Hyrule with the dam here.
Yep, and using the hookshot to get the Moon Pearl! Oh, wow.
What is this seed, ladies and gentlemen? What is this seed?
I'm pretty sure, like, sub 1 hour confirmed at this point. Yeah.
Keep in mind, we already have hookshot, silvers, blue mail, 2 swords, an ether tablet, flippers, Pegasus boots, Titan's mitt. We're under 12 minutes for our competitors, and we still haven't had a map check yet.
Goodness. Alright, so we're heading into the mini Moldorm Cave, which is another place where we can find tons of value, perhaps.
At this point, I'm wondering how much value there's actually left to find.
Well, how about a ton of money?
Ton of money. You know, it's interesting. Oh, and there's another shield. We found all 3 shields.
Oh my goodness, we're gonna have Riot Shield over on Android's side pretty soon.
Yeah, it's interesting because... Oh, we just missed the map check for Cookie. I did not see what we had. It's interesting, though. Cookie has not gone to East Death Mountain. It is technically a sequence break, so depending on how comfortable Cookie is with dark rooms, this may be an instance where, you know, he's avoiding East Death Mountain, which is going to make Android eventually pull ahead the longer and longer he delays, unless Cookie keeps finding items of value and is negating that edge. So we shall see.
Right, so there are 2 items that would get Cookie out of, or would get Android out of his sequence break, and those are the lamp and the flute.
Yep. Getting the flute would only mean he wouldn't be able to pick up, or that blue mail would be a sequence break, but he'd be able to get everything else, so it'd be interesting to see. Just blue rupees on the edge.
And of course, if he finds one of those items in a place that's locked by, say, the flippers or something like that, then he would know immediately that the other item has to not be blocked by those flippers. It has to be in a place that's not locked by the other item.
Oh my god, and Zora held Bombos.
Ooh. Bombos from Zora, and that's going to lead to a pretty interesting decision later on.
Yep. Meanwhile, Cookie is going to do the back end of Escape that Android's already done, while Android goes and is doing the Southern Hyrule route that Cookie was just doing.
Yeah.
So
it looks like Cookie is actually heading for the King's Tomb, which is the spot he missed a while ago.
Oh, right. Okay. While we're watching these competitors kind of run over the others' tracks at the moment, let's give a big shout out to both Cookiepocalypse and Android412. This has been a great seed. You know what? I make this promise to you. If you follow them, you will have the same sort of luck in your runs. So please give these 2 a follow. Clearly, it will mean luck for you.
That is a pretty solid promise there.
Yep. No substitutions or refunds, you know? And Cookie, interesting. It seems like he's not comfortable with the dark rooms and is going ahead and doing the Dark World run. Really interesting to see that play.
Well, the logic will not make you do it, and so perhaps he is trusting in the logic to make his trips as good as possible. So Android picking up that riot shield. Goodbye, Link's face.
Link had a face? I never knew that.
Well, there you go. So we have a map check. We've got Skullwoods, Palace of Darkness, and Turtle Rock as the pendants. Skullwoods is the green pendant.
Oh, you absolutely hate to see, because in this version of the logic, oh, Cookie picks up the book.
So we've got a little bit of a Thieves' Town library here.
That's just really interesting right now, because in the logic, oh, it's that's gotta be Kane.
Very nice, very nice. So the Cane of Samaria has been found over in the Ice Rod Cave, which is a very interesting development, because many players tend to skip the Ice Rod Cave because it's so far out of the way.
If people do end up grabbing it, it's usually because they have the flute and it's right there. That is incredibly interesting. I dare say that puts Android in the lead, because with Misery Mire required, we know that the cane is required.
That's true. Though I'm told that having a pendant in Turtle Rock means there's a required item there as well.
You know what? In this seed, it certainly seems like it. That no matter what happens, you better not avoid the pendant dungeons. We've seen a lot of runners just fall on their faces, being neck and neck with runners, and then avoiding those pendant dungeons as long as they can, and falling 10, 15, 20 minutes behind because of it.
Yeah, so Cookie did in fact grab the book in Thieves' Town, and that was pretty much the only interesting thing we've seen in Thieves' Town so far.
No, but Thieves' Town is a crystal dungeon, I believe, so making this, it's a dungeon that you can clear out relatively easy without a whole lot of requirements that he doesn't have, so I'm perfectly fine with this play. It seems logical, particularly if you're trying to avoid the dark rooms of Death Mountain.
Now, in the vanilla game, Cookies takes a beating to some grasshoppers.
Yeah, that's going to be a rough one. It's a few minutes back to that. Any death when you're in the tournament at this point in time is a bad death, unfortunately. But
unless you intended it.
If you intended it, that means you don't have the mirror, at which point it's still a bad death. It's not a preferred death. Meanwhile, Android's going to go run over here to Zora to pick up his... what did Zora have?
The Bombos Medallion. So the Bombos Medallion has a couple of uses. One, it could open one of the two dungeons that require a medallion to open. It also can allow you to navigate Ice Palace without the fire rod.
And we saw Skullwoods as a pendant dungeon, correct?
Yes, Skullwoods was in fact
Skullwoods. So Skullwoods and Turtle Rock, the only two dungeons that require fire rod, are pendant dungeons. So it's possible that fire rod is not required for this one, and Bombos is.
Interesting. You could have a fire rod in like the validation chest. Well, no.
Well, I mean, you could.
Yeah, I guess it's theoretically possible that they expect you to use the lamp to light all those torches on the way up.
It is theoretically possible. That doesn't mean it would be fun. by any stretch, but it would be theoretically possible. That would also mean, though, if Fire Rod were Invalidation Chest, that it would lock most of Turtle Rock away from me because the Fire Rod is required for that torch room.
Right. And I mean, nobody actually wants to go to Turtle Rock when it's a pendant.
They don't, but I'm sure these runners are thinking, with this version 26 logic being what it's been, that it might be a smart play to at least check it if you're in the area. Or if you have nowhere else to go, because there's a lot of treasures that are available there.
Yeah. In all truth, there is no real bias toward pendant dungeons. It's just that there is no bias at all. And so that's why things end up
feels like
randomly
that
distributed.
it feels like there's a higher emphasis put on them simply because probably from confirmation biases, particularly in the tournament. We've seen so much value found in these pendant dungeons.
Yeah, if you do the math on it, it turns out that you're actually pretty likely to have at least one required item in a pendant dungeon. So it's just confirmation bias, really, that people expect it. All right, so Cookiepocalypse is
Takes another death, this time to blind in the round 3. Android, meanwhile, picking up half magic in Skull Woods. Skull Woods a pendant dungeon, but he's making that dive in there anyway, trying to find value.
He remembers the meme, which is, it is version 26, go to Skull Woods.
And there's only 2 items in Skull Woods, but already finding half magic, so difficult to think that he's... I mean, as soon as he finds the other one, he'll probably dip out pretty quickly.
Yeah, there are quite a few items here, or quite a few chests that... Oh! The mirror
Version 26!
Also found in Skull Woods. What did you expect, to be honest?
That's a wonderful risk that Android took. Cookie opted to dive into Thieves Town. Android opted to dive into... Cookie takes another death.
So the blind fight is very treacherous if you don't have the very, specific scripted fight down.
Yeah, if you know the scripted fight sequence, you can get it down usually in about 15 to 20 seconds. If you don't, it's can be a kind of a rough fight that ends up being more randomized very, very quickly.
Yeah, turns into sort of a bullet hell shooter.
A lot of competitors I've seen this tournament end up using either Kate or Brian to help assist in those later stages, particularly.
Unfortunately, neither of those items is available at the moment.
No, we just have all the other value located.
Though, to be fair, another item I like to use on blind is the Cane of Samaria.
That's a fun one.
Which,
it's interesting.
If he'd gone to Ice Rod Cave, he could have picked it up.
Here's the interesting thing about Cookie. He passed up the Fisher Price Shield earlier in the Thieves' Woods.
Man.
He had to pick one up in the treasure chest, so he would have the Fire Shield right now, which is a huge help for blind if you're not familiar with the strats there.
Yeah, because you can block those fireballs with the Fire Shield. And that's going to make your life a lot easier.
It is. In the meantime, Android working his way through Thieves Town as well.
Now, the one upside with blind is it doesn't matter what sword you have, he's going to take the same amount of damage from every single hit.
Yeah, it makes it a really popular early Dark World dungeon once you're able to access it.
And he got it! Cookiepocalypse takes down blind. Just a map.
For the map. I believe that means there's still one more dungeon, or one more item that's locked behind the hammer. So we'll see if the competitors remember to get that.
The big chest. Control them once again. So Cookiepocalypse will now be heading down toward the south end of the Dark World. We can pick up this bombable hut. See what that is. That's a piece of heart.
Yep,
We're
and
gonna
I
head over
believe
to
we
the
saw
digging game.
Android. Yeah, I think we did see Android come through this part of the town earlier as well. But digging game will be interesting because I've seen a lot of value in digging games for whatever reason as well.
Yep. Cookie's about to find out the hard way that you can't do the digging game with the frog.
Yep, Jeremiah will block you from getting the digging game.
He's just not even going. Maybe he realized and he was like, "Wait a minute."
Well, the problem is he doesn't have the mirror, so he can kind of take a roundabout way, get old Stumpy here, some items, and maybe he's taking him to Hype Cave with him.
Yeah, you could go to Hype Cave and then save and quit, head back to the blacksmith's house.
I mean, again, if you don't have the mirror, that's an option for you, but we see once again that just a different routing decision, not a bad routing decision, but a different routing decision by Cookie is ending up saving Android a lot more time here.
There's the ice rod.
Ice rod, it's an unrequired ice rod this time in Hype Cave.
Oh, third sword as well. So there is some hype in this Hype Cave. It's not a ton, but it's quite a bit of hype.
It's what should we, let's see, this isn't a true hype, kind of a meh hype, like
a mite cave, a bacon cave.
No, bacon cave is good anytime. This is a leftover pizza for breakfast cave.
But it had the bacon sword in it. That's all I'm saying.
Okay. Cookie's gonna take Jeremiah back to his buddy.
I'm gonna call his buddy Ezekiel.
You're gonna have to explain that one to me.
It's the next book in the Bible. After Jeremiah.
Oh God.
Actually, that's not true. It's Lamentations after Jeremiah, but Jeremiah wrote both of those, so
we'll just go with it. Meanwhile, Android's over here about to take on Blind himself. See if he can make up some more. I mean, he's not really making up time, but putting more distance between him and Cookie.
Just a heads up to everybody in chat. Before this, Vatasia challenged me to make a worse meme than his. I think I succeeded.
James K. Polk is a strong competitor, my friend.
It's true. Link Bible study at the Sank at 5.
You say that, but for some odd reason, I always saw the guy as a rabbi and not a preacher.
Oh, okay.
I don't know why.
Maybe. He does have a hat on that resembles a yarmulke.
Meanwhile, Cookie's finally getting over to the digging game.
There's the single arrow in the digging game, and he neglects to pick it up, so now he can't kill Ganon.
Run validated, though. He found it.
Yeah, that is true.
Android going to follow around doing the South Hyrule, skipping Jeremiah for now.
Yep.
Cookiepocalypse at this point in time has got to be wondering to himself, where is that lamp?
Yeah, where is the lamp?
Android
I imagine
picking
Android's
up the validation.
Yeah, very nice. I imagine Android's also probably thinking, where is the lamp? Just because this has been a massive sequence break.
Do we have any Jafar emojis? Where is the lamp?
Yeah. Phenomenal cosmic powers, did he be living space?
Exactly. Android's got to be feeling pretty good about himself. Finding the cane over there in Ice Rock Cave is certainly something that you don't expect. Being able to use the mirror right away in a pendant, Skull Woods. I don't know if he expects Cookie to go there. This has been just a fast seed for Android, as
Now,
well for Cookie. But
if it turns out that the mirror doesn't really help you get items, that actually could go to bite him, because there's a lot of extra mirroring and going back and forth that turns out to not really help you. But there's the fire rod in Agnes Cave. What?
So, to refresh, the Cane of Samaria was an ice rod cave, and in Agnes Cave was the fire rod. Wow.
What in the world? Like, so those are the two locations that everybody skips. Or most people skip.
All the value is there. Well, we can't say all the value because we know fire rod isn't necessarily required right now.
True.
For now,
but I mean,
but
the
it's
fire rod
a
is
handy
great.
one.
And I mean, you could end up needing to get that green pendant, or for that matter, all of the pendants.
Yep, we have Suns Out, Guns Out in chat saying Bo at Trinex to slow it all down. You're a mean one, Mr.
Entirely
Grinch.
possible. You really are a hero. Okay, I'm done.
See, you also mentioned to me that
I warned you that was going to happen.
Yep.
And you just happened to. You started a song, and I had.
I'm setting you up, man. I'm ready for this. Cookie checking desert while he's out here in Agnes because he has the book.
That book.
Shovel to bow. No. No, you guys hate the runners, don't you? You just hate them.
And of course, as we remember, the shovel is on the Lumberjack Cave, so that would require defeating Aghanim 1.
Yep, we do know that Lamp can't be locked behind it because in order to beat Aghanim, you have to have the lamp for the dark rooms.
Very true. The dark rooms in Aghanim's tower, I've yet to see anyone actually do them without the lamp because it's so hard.
There's just so many places to fall off immediately. I would want to do it. I mean, it's such a low, high risk, low reward strategy. I can't imagine anyone doing it unless they absolutely felt they had to.
So Android, making use of the mirror, he can check the Bombos tablet before he heads into desert. And he'll probably pick up his fire rod while he's over here as well, I think. So there's a bottle with a piece of green goo in it, and is that the first bottle we've seen?
I think that is the first bottle we've seen. It'll be interesting to see who goes and checks Bug Boy first.
Yep, so the bottle is one of the better fetch quest items in the game. It's extremely useful for many things, but it's also useful to get the sick kid's item.
And as we've seen a lot in this secondary tournament, a lot of people using the bottles as safety strats. We've seen a lot of runners take a quick flute over to Witch's Hut to get a blue potion, or 3 sometimes, because they know exactly what their strengths and weaknesses are.
Yeah, that, basically before heading up to Turtle Rock / Ganon's Tower, I'm basically doing that every time.
Me too. I'm right there with you, dude.
Unless, of course, I don't have the flute, in which case I'm just like, I really want a potion, but I don't have time. Okay.
So as we see Cookie about to take on Landbulus, we see Android just starting his run into Desert Palace.
If Cookie is very careful, he can finish off the Landmullas with just the fire rod. Requires 2 shots per head, and after 2 shots on the lamps, there is exactly enough to do 6 shots in your magic meter.
Yes, but with Tempered Sword, it's still...
Oh! The flute is here.
That'll be good. That is interesting. That'll route Cookie back to Kakariko Village, but he doesn't have the mirror to be able to get the bottle to make it worthwhile, so he can route 2 things together at once. Wow.
Right. Now he could. This will almost undoubtedly route him back up to Death Mountain.
You absolutely have to think so, because he'll get that, head up to Death Mountain, be able to bypass that dark cave, and then all he's missing is the blue mail. Then he'll get quite a bit of value from everything else up there.
And he can actually check the Dark World, which Android was not able to do on account of not having the Moon Pearl.
This is true. He'll be able to route both of those together. Let's see here. And it'll Hookshot Cave and Super Bunny Cave. So that'll give Cookie a little bit of advantage here. 2 crystals to 1 right now, although Android's going to catch up in that right there.
So, here's Swag Duck. Swag Duck has been freed from the statue in Kakariko Village. Cookie will be flying off to 6. Interesting. He's making the play on the Mire area.
Yep, we'll be able to get our check to see what will unlock Mire, but also check the shed as well. So, not a bad play. It's relatively quick.
Oh, I didn't actually see what that was.
Neither did I. Felix,
It
did
might
you
have
happen
been
to get
ether, but there's another bottle, so Cookie will not have to go to the Bombos tablet to pick up a bottle.
So it was Bombos, is what Chat and
Bombos,
Felix,
okay.
our wonderful trackers, saying. Well done, guys. Oh, is he going to open it?
Oh, he's going for it. I don't know if he's going to go inside. Seems like not the best play if you don't have the Cane of Samaria.
It's not, and there's not a ton of value there, especially compared when you have just Death Mountain now open to you.
But he's going in. You gotta admire the, the audacity of this play.
It's certainly a risk, and as we've seen with a lot of this tournament so far, that you have to have a high-risk, high-reward strategy sometimes.
Yeah, your high variance strats are what you want to use when you're up against someone who you think is much better than you.
Well, and we know that Android412 has a better record. Cookie has not had a tournament run yet, so it's possible he's watched Android's earlier race and thought to himself that he might be behind given his routing and his play style. So that's possible.
I didn't even realize I made that pun. That was great.
Oh, ouch. Oh. When a pun is so good, you don't realize you've made it. Good job.
Alright, so Cookie immediately finds one of the 2 items in Misery Mire. It's just 50 rupees.
Gamble not paying off so far, but
Cookie
maybe
is probably going to kick himself for not having checked the Ice Rod Cave.
Yeah, because Android will be able to do it if he goes that way once he gets his Swag Duck.
Cookie also opting not to check the spike chest, mainly because it would kill him at the moment.
That's fair.
So Cookie gonna head out to the chest here behind the pegs. Oh, and gets wrecked.
Fireball to the face.
Fireball.
Again.
Once again, a reason he should have picked up that shield.
Let this be a lesson to everyone. We've seen Cookie die a lot to these fireballs. If he just would have picked up the first shield he saw, he'd be in much better shape right now.
Alright, just a blue rupee from the sick kid, so no real losses there. So Android is heading over to get potion time, looks like. Or not.
he might have messed up and is flying away again.
It's flying to 1, so we might be getting a Dark World Death Mountain check. We might be heading up to Hera. It's got the mirror, that's possible.
Routing in Hera with Dark World check is probably going to be pretty solid. We'll also get a T-Rock, at least we might see a pendant check for T-Rock. It's not required.
Yeah. Also, I don't believe he ever checked Spectacle Rock Cave, so we can also get this going. Alright, just a couple of big 20s there.
20 rupees, of course, are the most common item in the game so far, so really surprised that we haven't seen more 20 rupees so far.
Yeah, I think there's like 28 of them in the pool or something ridiculous.
It's all ridiculous. This whole seed's ridiculous.
I mean, you're not wrong. Interesting. Android heading straight into Hera. Maybe he'll remember the ether tablet here in a second.
Yeah, you know, it's kind of 50-50 whether or not you're ready to go to ether tablet the first time you come up here, so it's just not in the muscle memory quite yet for a lot of people.
Alright, so Cookie making quick work of that torch room in Misery Mire.
He got close. He was using the skip strats in those rooms. If he'd have missed just one, he would have been out of magic and not been able to make that shot. So good job, Cookie, there.
Well done indeed. Alright, so Cookie will be falling to where the vanilla big key chest is. And it contains a small key. Now it looks like Android is being forced to go into the basement of Hera. So
that'll be unfortunate if this gamble doesn't pay off. But this is a crystal dungeon, so certainly a worthwhile endeavor to go down here.
Yeah, it is something you have to clear. Though I know a lot of people like to route Hera as late as possible, especially if you can get it done right before going into Ganon's Tower, because you can just mirror directly outside. Alright, so Cookie finds the second item in Misery Mire, just a big 20 red rupee. And so that gamble did not pay off one bit, unfortunately. He's got to be thinking Death Mountain now.
Yep, and he's going to be doing Death Mountain. Will be interesting to see. I think Cookie will get to Dark Death Mountain before Android actually does so. Or they may be high-fiving in Super Bunny Cave.
Well, yeah, that's true. Unfortunately, Cookie still does not have the mirror. And so he will not be able to get up to Hera unless he finds the hammer in Dark Death Mountain.
Nope, he was just checking items up top, but yeah, that's unfortunate. Mirror was located in Skullwoods too, which Pendant Dungeon. Pendant Dungeon values, ladies and gentlemen. Version 26, Pendant Dungeons.
Version 26, hashtag Skullwoods, every time.
Every time. Don't, just do it.
Yeah, the front end of Skullwoods is, one, it's accessible very often, just right off the bat, and two, it's just pretty short to check the front end.
Yeah, there's not a lot going on there at all.
Android making a pretty quick work of Trolldorm, not putting up with any of Trolldorm's sass.
Trolldorm has been awful sassy this tournament so far too. I've seen several people fall players that you wouldn't expect. So Trolldorm getting trollier.
I mean, the other day I fell to him like 6 times, but you'd expect that from me, so.
Trolldorm 2, the trolling. Android
There's
picking
the-
up the cape.
So, could end up being required. The bumper cave requires the cape.
We'll see if can he route that. Are there pegs at the Dark World up top that he can't get into yet?
Yeah, there are pegs. Well, in the Dark World, there aren't any pegs. So, yeah, up on the floating island is the other mail upgrade.
It'll be interesting to see if either of these runners end up going for it. It takes only about 30 to 45 seconds, maybe, to get it once you get there. But
with Cookie skipping the shield, I imagine he'll probably skip that as well. Seems to be the kind of guy who skips things. Though with the experience he had on Blind, he might change his mind. Alright, just a couple little items there in Super Bunny Cave, and yeah, as you predicted, we're having a bit of a high five situation here. Or at least they're in the same cave at the same time.
Android giving us our check.
Quake. So if we're gonna have to get into Turtle Rock, we're gonna have to get there with a medallion that we don't have yet.
Oh, and Android doing a quick check because he didn't check it earlier, wanting to know if it's worth his time to go ahead and get that floating island item.
It is very easy to forget to check that.
I'm sure I've forgotten to check it at least a dozen times.
Alright, so Android has made his way into the Hookshot Cave. There are 4 chests in here, plus the access to that floating island if he wants that mail upgrade. And Hookshot Cave is basically a bust.
Android going for it, though. I'm not going to call that surprising, but that's an interesting development. Cookie can make up a little bit of time if he chooses not to, but
I am on board with that.
Safety strats all the way. I'm with you.
Yeah, the only way to mitigate the variation of the game is to, or mitigate the randomization is to mitigate the other risks in the game.
And eggplant hat. We'll see if Android. Yep. Oh no, he's gonna bug out.
Huh. Apparently.
So not checking Spike Cave like I thought he might.
Well, he would need the hammer.
That's right. Well, pegs not required on Death Mountain.
Right, but there are pegs in Spike Cave.
Oh, right.
They're right at the beginning, and it is easy to forget that.
Ninben, yes, he did skip the first armor. Cookiepocalypse, the first armor was given to you by the old man, and he's avoided anything Dark Room up to this point in time. So right now, for required items that we know are lamp, hammer. That's it. At least for Android. Cookie still has a bit to go. He needs lamp, hammer, he needs mirror. But I think that's it as well.
Yeah, so the flute was not lamp locked, it was at Landmola's. There's Cookie finding that mirror.
He's going about time. He's still hoping for that
Yes,
lamp.
We are definitely going to need the bow, and of course, if we need to get into Turtle Rock at any point, we will need the Quake medallion.
Bow. Wow, I saw the silver arrows, and for some odd reason I didn't think. I thought we already had the bow.
Oh no. You always have the silver arrows before you get the bow. Don't you know that? That's how it works.
Oh, Rando, how I love you sometimes.
So Android looks to be making the play on Eastern Palace. I would not be surprised to find, say, the lamp in the first couple of chests here.
Not unusual. Some difficult dark rooms in this dungeon, if he's able to do them, if he's practiced in them at all.
If you find the lamp here, then what I'm thinking is this seed is being trolly and actually did put the bow in the shovel location. Oh, well, there's the hammer. How about that?
Okay, we'll take that.
Oh. Part of me at this point would be like, I'm out. I'm going to go do other things. But you've got other chests here in Eastern that you can check, and you don't want to leave those behind if they're going to be important.
Yeah, Eastern has a total of 3 items, already finding the value. Still waiting on that lamp. We don't know how comfortable Android412 is in the dark rooms in both Eastern Palace and Pod. But it'd be real interesting to know.
Yeah. I imagine the dark room that he has a reason to go into right now, most players are very, very familiar with that one. The other one that's north of us would not really, you wouldn't have a reason to go in there unless you had the bow.
This is true. We might... vanilla bow, would that be trolling?
Well, we're about to find out. Because we just picked up the big key. Nope, just the compass. And yes, Android will be going for the big key chest. Because one, he knows it's an item.
Yep, the last 2 items in this dungeon are going to be in the vanilla big key chest, and then in the boss. It'll be real interesting if he does. No, he doesn't have the bow, so he can't do it. Right.
Right. Now both of these items are lamp locked by the logic. So we know we won't be finding the lamp.
No, but and that's the lamp is the only thing for goal mode for Android. Bow. Third. Yep, Shovel Dream is still alive. If it's the bow.
And just 20 rupees. So, Cookie is dangerously close to dying in Hera. I imagine he set up that warp there. I mean, he has the mirror, so it's not really necessary, but it's also a heart refill, so why not?
If you know what, if you're down to like 3 or 2 hearts, and you can warp out and you take the death, I'm perfectly fine with that. That's a smart play.
Would you consider that a good death?
We'll call it a smart death, not a good death.
Okay, we'll take it.
Android making his way to Swamp Palace. Interesting play, but makes sense.
Tons of items in Swamp Palace. Just a ridiculous amount of items. Now, the real question is, will he do the hashtag left side skip?
That'll be interesting if he does left side skip. We've seen a lot of players that help them and hurt them. It's just kind of a risk one way or the other.
I know some players who, even if they have several items they're looking for, will not check the left side because it's so far out of the way, and you're probably just going to get a map and a compass, and it's going to make you mad. Alright, so Cookiepocalypse taking on Moldorm at the top of the Tower of Hera. Ended up poking Moldorm. That's going to activate the speedboat, and down he goes.
Trolldorm living up to his name.
Indeed. They don't call him Trolldorm for nothing, folks. Here comes Cookie back on the second run. That also looked like a poke. Yep. And so he's going to need to apply some damage quickly to this tail before he gets knocked off again. There it is.
Good dash strat there.
Well played. Picks up that compass and the crystal. Did we ever figure out which crystals were 5 and 6?
I'll be honest, I did not look, unfortunately. I tried, but both of these players were pretty proficient with their map usage. Didn't give us a lot of time to watch.
That's true. All I know is that they are not the 3 crystals that they have.
Sun's out, guns out says, Troll Tracker says, lamp on Trinex, shovel to bow. I don't think Trinex can actually have the lamp.
Let's think about that. Because to reach Trinex, all you would need is the fire rod. Oh yeah, you need the lamp for the actual dungeon.
Yep, there's a dark room in there.
There's a dark room. Though it is one of the easier dark rooms.
It is one of the easier dark rooms, but the logic still remains. If there's a dark room, you need the lamp to theoretically be able to clear it.
Yeah. I've also been watching way too much entrance randomizer, where the back end of Turtle Rock can be completely decoupled from the front end. So you don't necessarily need to go through that room.
Oh, yeah, I'll be honest, I've not been able to get into Entrance Randomizer because it breaks my brain too hard.
Entrance Rando is fun to commentate, let's put it that way.
Cookie making his way back into the Dark World after that. Android going ahead and doing left side. I think he's not taking anything to chance, especially with only one item to go mode.
Indeed.
And he knows it's only one item to go mode too.
Alright, so nothing of value on the bumper cave.
Fetch quest for Android with the mushroom, so drugs for Lamp? Two items from go mode. Right. Bow. Just chat, do me a favor. Whenever I say one item to go mode, if it's not actually one item to go mode, just like proverbially slap me or something. Please.
Well, just operate under the assumption that Vitasia believes that the bow has been gotten. We'll just call it that. I believe I can shoot a bow. Anyway.
Let's see, going through here, we're edging the 1 hour mark, and while these competitors are tied for crystals, they each have 3 crystals, Android412 is well ahead in a lot of the key items, particularly the hammer, which we found in Eastern Palace, the cane of Samaria, which was in, of all places, Ice Rod Cave.
Oh, that is still brutal for anybody who's doing this. Yes, quite a treasure there.
Android, I'm seeing Brian. Was there a Brian pickup that I missed?
Yeah, it does look like the cane of Brian was somewhere in Swamp Palace. So Android's going to be heading out to Argus and the catfish today has a heart container. So that's
Catfish
about
gonna catfish.
Yep. Catfish is, of course, a very interesting story behind catfish, but that's not really my department.
Android making quick work. Not having the bow. That silver arrows on Argus is nice, but 2 spins and he's good.
Yeah. I do believe silver arrows it does kill Argus very quickly, but it's also very difficult to hit because he moves in a hurry.
This is true. And Sun's Out, Guns Out, reminding us that there's still one item in the Thieves' Town big chest. Android does have, yeah.
Android could head back in there and acquire that item. We'll see where he flutes to, or if he flutes at all. Ah, he's emptying a potion bottle.
Interesting.
Means
See where he's
might be going to buy some potions.
Well, he's got the money right now,
And the mushroom.
because he's already going to be here. So going to make this, might as well route this.
Have you seen the trick where the mushroom can activate the magic bat?
I have. That's an interesting.
He had the opportunity to do that if he wanted to.
Double checking. He has 2 bottles, so just making sure he can make use of everything.
Yep. The mushroom just leads to 50 rupees today. So it looks like Cookiepocalypse will be heading to pick up that hammer pretty soon. Meanwhile, Android,
I don't think he is.
He's making the play on Ice Palace.
Android making the play on Ice Palace, but Cookie actually going into Pod. Looks like.
Yeah, well, Palace of Darkness is a possibility. Taking a little damage, so he's going to have to pay another 10 rupees to pick up Kiki again.
You cheeky monkey.
Now, the Palace of Darkness, without the bow, you have to have a key in the first chest on the left for there to be anything you can do in Palace of Darkness. Because there are a lot of keys or locked doors in the Palace of Darkness, and so the Palace of Darkness tends to be front-loaded with keys quite a bit. Which of course leads to my analogy for Palace of Darkness, in that I tend to refer to Palace of Darkness as the mullet of dungeons, where it is business in the front and party in the back.
Which is the best description of a dungeon I think I've ever seen.
Yeah, it's pretty good. It's pretty good stuff.
So, 2 runners, 2 separate dungeons. Our first time seeing either one.
Yep, so we've got a nice little exciting show on our hands. We're gonna get to see quite a few interesting pickups here. So Cookie finds a key in a chest, opens a door, finds a map.
Cookie's still avoiding those dark rooms, even the ones in Pod that are relatively easy.
Yeah, that's very true. He is using the nice little bonk strat to get back up onto the ledge there, and he'll be jumping down to see what's in this room.
There'll be a key, so he's going to loop back around and get the last one, hoping for some sort of value in the vanilla big chest key.
That is true.
Probably hoping for the lamp, which is technically possible in this, which would be a trolley place for it as well.
That is possible. However, I believe The key logic would dictate that you would have to be able to get the bow in order to have the lamp there. But don't hold me to it.
I just came to a realization that this is that both of our runners are actually using Vanilla Link. This is one of the first races I think I've seen where both runners are using Vanilla Link and not an extra avatar.
Yeah, so Android was attempting the Ice Palace bomb jump, but was having some trouble, so he flipped the switch and headed through Vanilla style.
You know, if you're having trouble and you lose 4 or 5 hearts, sometimes it's quicker to not waste all your time doing that.
Yep. Android going in the trap room here. Picking up some heart.
Interesting routing.
And gonna go head over to these 3 chests that are on the side.
Cookie still not going to Ice Rod Cave.
Oh, that's unfortunate. But he is going into Ice Palace, and as we all know, there's something in Ice Palace. Because that's just how it works.
It's a pendant. Yup.
No, Ice Palace is a crystal.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah. It's just still Ice Palace. When it's a pendant, it's always got an item. When it's a crystal, it's usually got an item.
Lots of chests locked behind a lot of different things. Hammer, for example. Hookshot.
Yeah, hookshot is in the logic for certain key distributions.
Also, as Ninban pointed out, this is dungeon number 6, which we didn't quite have. And we did see that they had redone as well, so definitely a good play if they can clear it out.
There's the big key. So Android gonna head over to the big chest.
As well as the Frosty room.
Yep. Is that what the name of those things are? I don't actually know what the name of those things are.
I have no idea.
Wait, no, it's Freezors. Freezors. I remember that. Alright, just a small key in the small chest. Android's going to jump down the vanilla way to get to the big chest. You can go through these blocks using the hookshot if you want to. So the 20 rupees have been found there. And Android now going to head to this chest that's a little out of the way.
It's a little out of the way, but we know he's gotten the map and the compass at this point in time, I believe, if I saw his pause screen correct.
So the only thing that's left is one item and a small key. So it's going to be between the chest and Cold Stare.
And if you're already relatively close to it, you might as well get it.
Oh no, there's the map.
Yep.
So I guess, slightly mistaken on that one, we're looking at the third item on Cold Stare.
These Croco-Penguins certainly pack a punch, too. It's unfortunate that he took a couple hits there.
Yeah. I think I read somewhere that their official name is Pengator.
Pengator, that makes sense. Croco-Penguin does not make any sense.
It makes some sense. So Android, knowing that he has the Cane of Samaria, was not really worried about that Ice Palace bomb jump. So he can just drop the cane on that switch there.
It still saves a little bit of time if you're able to do it, but he had spent enough time on there and wasn't quite nailing it, so he knew might as well just head on over.
Alright, so now we're gonna get to see Cold Stare fight. It's a tempered sword Cold Stare with half magic. So using the bombos here will conserve some shots if you want to use the fire rod later on.
Oh, and he misses knocking him into the corner, so this is going to be kind of a rough fight for Android.
Yeah, the quick kill strat to get him in the corner and not let him leave. It's a little trickier than you think because the time window on that is not long.
There's a very short timer on it, so if you're able to do it and get him in, even once you are successful to get him in, you have to maintain timing very well to keep them in that corner.
Right.
Tempered sword is even more difficult because you have to keep them in there longer.
Right, and you have to avoid getting, beat around by the ice from the ceiling.
Android, using a quick blue potion, had half of a heart and says, "Nope, my pride is not worth doing this dungeon a second time."
Indeed. Well, no, that's just a small key. I guess we got all the items. I think I missed what was in the big key chest.
Not sure either, so... Oh, excuse me.
You okay?
Yeah, choking on something. I'm sorry. Now, we do have both Crystal 5 and 6, so we might be going for the double-chested fairy at this point.
Quite possible. Alright, so it looks like Android will now be making the play on Misery Mire, which we saw Cookie make a long time ago. However, Android can actually finish Misery Mire.
Android will also be able to get Checkerboard Cave, which we know that Cookie couldn't do because he came here before he had the mirror.
Ooh, that would be brutal if the bow was there.
Bow or lamp could be there. Either one.
Very true.
Cookie about to start his approach on Cold Stare.
Yes, both players using the Bombo strats. I'm kind of a fan of Bombo strats. Hey, there's the Quake medallion. Oh, and
Quake, so
that makes
Turtle Rock
Turtle
skeleton
Rock in play.
Okay, what would be more torturous, Chad? Bow in Turtle Rock or bow in Pedestal? Which torturous route are you rooting for right now? Because I know you're rooting for torture.
Clearly, Pedestal would be more torture because that requires you going through Turtle Rock.
That's just details, you know.
With how early they acquired the book, I'm surprised we actually haven't seen a pedestal check.
Well, I think the one time we would have seen it, we had Android who was up there, and well, both players got the items early, so there was no routing going up there. And they've both gotten so many items with so many different places to check. I think they were both thinking that this was going to be a jet scene and there was no need.
That's quite possible. I've just been burned by pedestal seeds too often. There were, I think, a couple in the qualifiers, and one of them was the one I did, and didn't check the pedestal until way late.
I think we all have kind of a torture story like that. I know I was only able to do one qualifier, and I can't do dark rooms to save my life, and lamp was another one of these long lamp seeds where it was buried somewhere in Turtle Rock.
Gross. So Cookie's heading into Swamp Palace, which we know will net him a crystal. And the Cane of Brian.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Android's going through a short Misery Mire, but he'll actually be able to finish it. So I
Right.
didn't check to see. I didn't count when Cookie was doing it, but we'll see if there's some item. Maybe the bow on Vitreous.
There was just money. There was 50 in the first chest, and there was 20 in the chest near the blue switches near the big chest.
So this will be Android's 6th dungeon. The only thing he's waiting on is the bow before he can get Eastern. So he's going to have to start making some decisions after this one.
Yep, the Eastern Palace locked by only the bow, and that will lead directly to go mode. Alright, so Android is had a little bit of trouble with the block glitch there with the fire rod.
And he's going to have to hurry a little bit, and missed it again.
So there's an interesting fact here. The Wizrobes in this room have the same spawn algorithm that the Stalfos have in Eastern Palace in that one room. You know what I mean?
Really?
Yeah. So if you get them to spawn on top of something, they won't actually spawn. They will attempt to spawn all around you in a cardinal directions.
I did not know that. Thank you for enlightening me today.
Yep. The
oh,
ones
Nan
in Eastern.
and Ben, we have all sorts of trivia for you.
Mm-hmm. The ones in Eastern, of course. A lot of people think that the trick is to just throw the pots very quickly. It has nothing to do with your speed. It's where you step into the center of the room that will trigger them to spawn in a certain spot. And the fact that you spawn one of the skeletons on the pot means it won't spawn, and the other one is off the top of the screen, so there's only two that spawn. Speaking of enlightening, did we get the lamp yet? And the answer is no.
Android paused the game for a good long while here.
Android is thinking, what have I missed?
No, is there a dark room? Yeah, there's dark rooms in Misery Mire. So
yeah,
where are you gonna
Misery
go?
Mire dark room is probably the worst, with the exception of Agate Tower, because you've got to land that Samaria block on that switch, and Samaria blocks and switches are finicky. Ah, that's very possible. Android could have been, scouring the internet for a map of that dark room. Which, by the way, is completely allowed.
Yeah, I mean, it's not an illegal move, but it's one of those, if you think you might need it, it's always better to have it pulled up before your race ahead of time. So, a little bit of lesson learned. I don't think Android will ever not have darkroom maps pulled up again.
Mm-hmm. Either that, or he'll probably practice them until he doesn't need the map. Alright, so Android there found the last item. Here
Saving and quitting out.
And he's going to take off, knowing that he no longer has to go through that dark room.
So where does he go from here? He has a Turtle Rock, and maybe, just maybe, Aghanim? Nope, can't do Aghanim
So it looks
without
like
lamp.
he's going to do double-chested fairy, if I'm not mistaken.
We're running out of places the lamp can be. It's just about got to be a double-chested fairy, doesn't it?
Yeah, pretty much. It could be in, like, the first few chests in Turtle Rock. We know it's not in Pod. We know it's not in Skull Woods. Alright, so Android is going to be heading up to deal with this double-chested fairy bomb. So the biggest troll really would be Bo at Shovel location.
I think that is correct, and that dream is still very much alive.
Especially if they go and do like Turtle Rock and all the pendant dungeons, pull the pedestal, and then think, okay, now let's go do Aga.
I don't know if we'll necessarily see that. And that was our first pyramid check. Interesting.
Cookie checked it a little while ago. Oh my goodness, nothing there in double-chested fairy. Shovel is at Lumberjack Cave. So Aga would be required for that.
Yep, so let's... Where's he gonna go now?
Let's see. I don't believe Android made the play on Pod yet. So that's where he's heading. Meanwhile, Cookie gonna pick up a bottle off of the Bompos tablet here.
So right now we're waiting to see who makes a play on Turtle Rock because it's a pendant. We have Turtle Rock and we also have Spike Cave that's in play as well.
I also believe we haven't seen Peg Cave.
Oh, that's true.
Which might be where Cookie is headed. Or he might also be heading for the caves south of the Haunted Grove, which I don't think he got to the first time.
No, his first time through, he unfortunately had to skip a few locations simply because he didn't have the mirror. Skull Woods could be a possibility as well because you get the green pendant from there. Sriracha might have it.
So Cookie is experiencing a mirror bonk that I call the bushwhack.
All the bad puns, huh?
Yep. I stole that from somebody, though. That one's not mine.
It's worth stealing. I think it's well done.
Okay, so Cookie gonna be heading to that Peg Cave. I think. Alright, yes.
We'll see if Cookie takes the time to... Looks like he's going to go ahead and do these dark rooms at least.
Yeah. The dark rooms here in the... this dark room is pretty tolerable.
And what does Cookie find in Peg Cave? Rupees.
Just 20 rupees, my goodness. The magic powder in the dark room for Android.
Ooh. Could be Bo. Could fetch quest to Bo still.
I'm reasonably certain that can't be Bo. Again, because of the key logic we discussed with Palace of Darkness, there's only 3 chests in the Palace of Darkness that can lead to Bo. One of them is the first chest, the very first room. There's this one that Android's about to get, and then there's the one on the ledge. Past this. The rest cannot lead to Bow because of the key logic.
Okay.
There was a big to-do about it in the Discord a little while ago. Well, it looks like Cookiepocalypse has made his way up to Death Mountain. He's going to be doing the Hera play. No, he's done Hera. So...
Oh, Spike
Maybe the
Cave.
Spike Cave play?
Yeah, Spike Cave will be kind of an interesting thing. We haven't seen that yet, and he's got Brian, so he'll be able to get through that with half magic.
Spike Cave was not lamp locked in any way, so we could have the lamp here.
It would be big for Cookie if the lamp was here, because a lot of places he hasn't done specifically because of the lamp.
Goodness. This seed started off free, like super free, and now I haven't seen much that's trollier. Android electing not to go into the dark room or the dark maze in Palace of Darkness, and I don't blame him. That's not an easy room.
No, and for kind of low risk payoff, because if you know based on what you were saying that the lamp can't be in the dark room and the bow can't be in that because of the key logic sequence, then it makes no sense for you to keep on struggling through here.
And it looks like Cookiepocalypse will be picking up the Quake Medallion, and we may be getting ourselves a Turtle Rock play.
I am still amazed that he has not gone to Ice Rod Cave yet.
Right, he can't do anything in Turtle Rock right now.
Sir Beater of A, I'm not going to say your name, V26, if it starts off free, immediately .forfeit.
Yeah, it seems about right.
It's true, because everything opens up to you, and then you are spent running around trying to find the one item in every possible location. And a high five from our players.
Yep. A little bit of minor sync here. Alrighty. So Android's going to be heading over to the Peg Cave area, and we'll also be able to check the magic bat. Now, unfortunately, we know that that these will not really pay off for him. You can't have the bow or the lamp here. Cookie. Yes, the gain was in the Ice Rod Cave. Cookie is making the play on the Thieves' Town Big Chest.
It's an interesting play, especially considering that, they've already cleared this long before they found the hammer. Not necessarily indicating a double dip, because I don't think anything in here was required to get the hammer, but it would have meant putting this dungeon off quite a bit longer than these guys intended.
Indeed. Now, Android gonna make his way to that chest, or gonna do the magic bat here.
Well, we know it's not the lamp.
It's just a piece of heart.
Yep, and that's what we're really fearing, Nimben, is that he just completely forgot Ice Rod Cave. He's checking all the other high-value areas. We've seen him walk right by it when he made a play on...
Just 20 rupees in that big chest. The troll is real, ladies and gentlemen. The troll is real.
At this point, both runners wondering where this lamp is, neither of them really able to go much further without it. At what point do you ask yourself, seeing that shovel, gonna have to defeat Aghanim eventually? I mean, still lamp lock though.
That's true.
T-Rock. I'm voting for T-Rock at this point.
I'm out of options in my head. I keep thinking, and at least one of our runners has checked everything I think of.
Lamp and TR and Turtle Rock Roller Room.
Yeah, Roller Room, that's the last possible place it can be. Though Mimic Cave is what some people are saying, just to be super trolly.
I've never seen a community more warm and welcoming and more want you to suffer than this one.
Oh yeah, we all want you to share in our suffering. That's the point. Because misery loves company.
It's been about a half hour of going through this as we're at right now, without much progress in dungeons or items. So it was a jet seat early on, but since then, bow and lamp.
Yeah, the seed is pretty stoops, but it stoops in the wrong way.
Android wondering to himself as he's going here, what did I miss?
I believe at this point, Android is probably thinking, am I actually going to have to make the Turtle Rock play?
And if there's one thing we've said from the beginning of this run, version 26 means go independent dungeons.
Mm-hmm. Alright, well, Android, excuse me, Android was thinking about making the Turtle Rock play. And I think he's decided instead to go kill Mothula to get the green pendant. Nope, I'm making that up.
Probably because he hasn't checked Thieves Town Big Chest yet.
Right, Thieves Town Big Chest. I just automatically check that off in my head as if they've already seen each other's stuff. So Cookiepocalypse is going back into Eastern. Looks like when he went in the first time, he grabbed the hammer and pieced out. Cookie heading down into the room just slightly to the right, which allowed that skeleton to spawn below him. Meanwhile, Android navigating the Hellway. There is exactly 1 pixel in that Hellway where you can dash all the way up. It's a mess.
Yeah, and it's a 1 pixel that you have to get at the right time, so few people even attempt it at this point in time.
Even then, the RNG from those red blobs can mess with you. I have no idea what those are called.
Red blobs?
The red blobs that shoot out the little thing that makes them vulnerable. Oh, you were just saying we call them red blobs. All right. I thought you were just asking, what do you mean red blobs?
No, yeah, and that's all I meant. It's like, oh, I just call them red blobs.
Sounds good to me. Alright, so Android is going to mirror out.
Patrick Stars. Okay.
Patrick Stars. Okay, I'll take it. Okay, so now he's making the play I was thinking about a minute ago. Or is he? Cookie is making the play I was thinking about a minute ago. Going to Mothula. Gonna get that green pendant, see what that green pendant has to offer.
Android fluting away. Is he? Is he? I think he might be.
Going to make the play. It's Cookie who's done Spike Cave, right?
Yeah, Cookie is the one who's done Spike Cave, so Android might be making that play. It looks like he is, actually.
Yeah. If you're going to Turtle Rock, you're probably heading the other direction. Our level of pedestal hype is in fact elevated. It might even be severe soon. Cookiepocalypse finding himself locked by a key in Skull Woods. Gonna have to go in and grab the one. He might have already grabbed the one under the pot, but I don't know for sure.
Yes. Well, yeah, Android went in. Did Android go into Mire just for the first part? I believe he did.
Yes, Android did go into Mire. Opened every chest that was accessible, but did not go to Vitreous on account of the dark rooms being literal garbage.
And welcome, the one, the only Mr. Adirondack Rick. We have a wonderful race going on.
So what do you think about Lamp at Armos? No, that can't happen.
Yeah, that can't happen.
I wish it
Cookie
could.
taking his death. Android, I think, is now making the T-Rock play.
All right. Android is heading over to Turtle Rock. We're going to have ourselves an interesting time. I think, don't hold me to it, but I think Cookie might not know the key is under that pot.
That would be really unfortunate if he doesn't know that.
Now,
because
there's
that's
likely to be a small key here in this big chest.
Yep, we have the shovel at Lumberjack, which could be in the, which means Bo could be in the dig spot. We also don't have Lamp yet, Rick. Both players caught up on items together. We're just waiting on the Lamp and the Bow. Except Cookie also has not actually gotten the Cane of Samaria yet, which is in Ice Rod Cave. We're just waiting to see when he goes.
Yes, we had two extremely rare occurrences. We had Cane of Samaria in Ice Rod Cave. We had Fire Rod in Agona's Cave. So two places where most people skip, and they've got two great items.
We still don't think Fire Rod, well, it depends. Well, nothing of value we know is going to be at Mothula, unless Sahasrara ends up giving something nice.
Right,
the
because
Lamp and Bow.
Mothula has that green pendant. All right, Cookiepocalypse going to make the Mothula fight happen. 4 good hits with the Tempered Sword will take down Mothula. However, you have to make sure you don't knock it into some spikes.
Makes quick work of it there. A very decent, very good Mothula fight by Cookie.
Right, so there is no possibility of pedestal seed here, unfortunately, but we're going to have some troll.
Looks like Cookie is going... Oh, is he checking the pedestal?
It's possible, but doubtful. He's just going to take off. Alright, so Cookie gonna flute over to 5 so that we can see what Sahasrara has.
This might be a very important play for Cookie. Other than the King of Samaria, he's at 5 crystals. We have Android at 5 crystals, so it's possible this is the play that catches Cookie up to Android.
Mm-hmm. And here we go. The lamp!
Lamp!
The lamp is at Sahasrara, which means Android, if he's going to find the bow here in Turtle Rock, he's going to have to go around, or he's going to have to go through a dark room, which he has so far avoided the fairly difficult ones, although Turtle Rock's dark room, perhaps not the most difficult.
Not the most difficult, but oh, I guess the laser room is locked behind the dark room, isn't it?
That is true. Now, Cookiepocalypse, yeah, it's also possible that the bow could appear in a earlier chest here in Turtle Rock, so there is that possibility. Cookiepocalypse is heading over to the Palace of Darkness, which unfortunately, because of the key logic situation we talked about, can't actually contain the bow.
Still, I don't know if it can't contain the bow, but he's got the lamp and he's got the hammer, so at least it's another dungeon that he can complete. I don't know if I'd complete this if you didn't do a pedestal check, though.
Yeah, Android finds the red boomerang in the Turtle Rock big key chest.
Shovel bow hype is still a thing.
Shovel bow could absolutely be a thing. And
Cookie finding the powder.
That green pendant was available very early. All you had to do was find the fire rod, which was at Agha's cave, and a sword, and you can get to Mothula.
That's true.
Alright, so Android gonna check that Mimic Cave. All you guys who were hoping for Mimic Cave hype, here it is.
Making pretty quick work of these guys in here.
And just a piece of heart.
The shovel bow hype is still alive.
Shovel D.
And a key for Android. Tell me, Dr. Bob, sir, at what point would you make the Aghanim call? Knowing that Shovel is there, knowing all these other locations you've checked, at what point do you say, I'm feeling trolled, I'm going to go ahead and go there?
I don't know. I mean, I'm thinking about the time that Android picks up this chest right here. Like, I'd look at that and say, okay, there's no lamp here. I'm out. But then again, he could have the lamp. So there could be a bow at the end of this, so I don't even know. Turtle Rock is kind of iffy. Android accidentally went the wrong way starting off, and that can lead to some issues. But there we go. Oh, and he falls off.
Falls off. Brave call here on Android, going for it. Because who knows what's in Laser Cave. It'll be interesting.
We know that it could be the bow, on account of the lamp being accessible elsewhere.
We also know that, he'll have to find the lamp because we know that he wasn't comfortable doing those Misery Mire Darkroom strats.
Indeed.
He's doing T-Rock right now, but he might not waste time. Who knows?
There's the map. The compass.
Man, I'm getting anxious. You guys feeling it?
Will be a key.
Rupees and the other one's a key.
We are trolled. Super trolled here.
Trolled for days.
The last item will be on Trinex, and if it is the bow, Android will find himself in go mode-ish. You know, assuming he can muster the courage to get through those dark rooms.
Oh, I'm getting excited here. Trinex, it feels like Trinex won't have the bow, but you can't say never with how this seed has been so far.
If it turns out to be trash, I believe we are down to shovel hype. Whoever's in charge of putting these seeds together, it's almost like you wanted it to be entertaining. I know you're not. They're all completely random, but I've seen quite a few troll seeds here in the secondary tournament. I don't know about you. Alright, so Trinex spewing a little bit of ice on the floor on Android's side. And here we go. So Android taking care of the two elemental heads of Trinex.
Gets bumped there. That's unfortunate there.
Taking a little bit of extra damage that he doesn't need to. Luckily, the red mail's making it pretty trivial. And Trinex is down.
Drum roll.
The item's gonna spawn in the middle of the room, and it is the bow.
Okay.
All right, so Shovel is dead.
Shovel is dead, but well, he can't do go mode because he doesn't have the lamp yet.
Yeah, if he finds the lamp, he'll be in good shape. Meanwhile, Cookiepocalypse, while we were talking about it, did find that Cane of Samaria. Finally, and we'll be heading in to finish off Misery Mire.
So just to refresh, in our pendant dungeons, Pod had what did Pod have? Skullwoods had mirror, and which is absolutely important, and then lamp.
Pod had a whole lot of jack squat and a half, but well, it had the powder.
Had the powder, okay,
but the powder is my favorite item in the game. Not close.
But between Skullwoods having the mirror and the lamp, and Turtle Rock having the bow, again, version 26 logic tells you, do pendant dungeons.
All them pendant dungeons. All over the place.
Android looking around. He's got silvers now, so he'll be able to do the other side. won't be too happy because he won't find the lamp here, but wrong pendant dungeon, buddy.
He's not mistaken in the possibility that the lamp could be here, though, because he has the bow. The logic no longer locks it to him.
That's right.
Side.
Yep, it's just a matter of making the right call, which, if you had to, knowing you didn't get much of anything so far out of call.
Oh yeah, you're right. The bow is locked by the lamp, though. So once again.
Oh yeah.
Same situation. So, by an extra leap of logic, you could deduce that this is not the right call.
At this point, I think he's just hoping for something, though.
Yep. If he wants that lamp real bad, he's gonna have to go to Mothula, which you don't really expect at this point.
Nope, not after getting so much value earlier, but he's thinking. He's thinking right now.
Bow mode indeed.
Meanwhile, Cookie's taking on Vitreous.
Nice use of the Cane of Brian strats.
Cane.
I like the Cane of Brian too.
I do as well. It's sparkly.
And not just because my brother's name is Brian. Alright. Slashing a few times with this tempered sword will take care of Vitreous pretty quick.
You had a poke there, unfortunately.
Yep.
Yep, Android is missing the lamp, and Cookie is missing the bow. And that's all either of these players need. Now, Cookie goes up with only one crystal left in Eastern Palace, so he absolutely has to find that bow. But it's on Trinex.
Yeah. I believe Cookie is out of options at this point and will be making the play on Turtle Rock. Once again, our players missing the trick in Eastern Palace skeleton room.
I don't blame them. I haven't quite got the trick down myself either.
Yeah.
I can usually get 3, but not all of them.
Yeah. 3, you just gotta be high enough in the room, and you'll be fine.
Android.
Cookie's gonna save the old man and get a blue mail.
Get his blue mail finally. Looks like Android, though, is going for Dark Room Eastern Palace. If he hasn't practiced that, doesn't know the strats, it'll be interesting.
He's slashing the correct Igor. He's just got to make sure that it dies. There we go.
Yep. So he'll be able to get Eastern Palace cleared out. So that's one crystal that he's caught up on, but he does not want to do that Meyer Dark Room. So he's still got to find that lamp.
So you got to ask yourself, is it going to be faster to check places to find that lamp, or to kind of blindly feel your way through the Misery Mire Dark Room?
That's a good question. It all depends on your confidence in that. We've already seen Android pause the game a few times. We think he's pulling up maps, so it's just your confidence in that. But those Meyer dark rooms are just brutal. So if I were him, I'd search for lamp. But it all depends on how much practice he's done with those dark rooms. One way or the other, though, I think he's going to have more practice in dark rooms outside of the tournament when he does extra practice rounds.
Indeed. Now, of course, the Armos Knights go down very quickly with the silver arrows. There are only 2 enemies in the game that take more than 1 silver arrow to kill. You know, the ones that are actually vulnerable to arrows. One of them is Vitreous, who takes 2, The other one is Ganon.
Silvers are nice to have. Android thinking about his options here. Is he going to go for a Meyer Dark Room? Or is he going to go... He doesn't think... Looks like he might be thinking for the Aghanim play, trying under that shovel, but remember, it can't be under there because you have to do Dark Rooms to get to Aghanim.
Yeah, he may be trying it, but he's going to get inside Aghanim's tower and realize he can't see.
It's all right, Rick. This was a fast seed to start off with. Our poor tracker, Felix, was having a hard time keeping up. They were just getting items left and right. So I have a hard time feeling too bad for them with Boa Trinex. Android, I'm going. I don't hesitate really to say this. Unfortunately, this is a mistake. Hoping that he'll have to go through Dark Rooms in order to get the shovel. This is not a play that's going to work out if he sat and thought about it.
3, 2, 1, Dark Room.
Oops, mirror.
And he's out.
Cookie, in the meanwhile, takes a death, so he's going to have to start over.
Yep. The nice thing about having gotten that powder already is there are plenty of anti-fairies here in Turtle Rock to sort of refill your health with that powder.
Oh, absolutely. And that's one of the nice things about T-Rock. It's a long dungeon, but because of all the anti-fairies, if you have that powder, it's not a hard dungeon per se.
So Android, really the only option he has left is the green pendant from Mothula, if he wants that lamp, and that's where it will be.
We hope he makes that call.
He's going for Meyer.
Ooh.
He's gonna.
Okay.
He's gonna, tough up and take it.
Cookie, in the meanwhile's struggling through the chain shop room. It's a tough room to get through, really.
When you don't know where to go, flute to 3, it's always there. All right. All right, so Android is going to be attempting to traverse the treacherous Misery Mire Dark Rooms.
This is going to be a risky play for Android, but if he just does not have any idea where the lamp could be, this might be the only play in his mind, and he's got to make it. At this point, he's probably worried he's behind just because he spent so much time looking for this lamp.
Right. Now, if he does pull this off relatively quickly, he will have a pretty significant advantage, because Cookie still has to finish Eastern Palace.
Eastern is relatively quick. Neither opponent will be up on T-Rock, so they can't make the quick Ganon Tower jump. But, this is shaping up to be a real close race, guys.
Alrighty. So Cookie's taking care of a couple of pokies, while Android is trying to get that cane block in the right spot.
It's interesting. Luckily for Android, he does have Mirror Shield, so he's able to block some damage.
Oh.
Did he get it? Did he get it? Is he?
No, it looks like he might have pushed it off at one point.
That's rough. Cookie, meanwhile, checking the worthless Mimic Cave.
Yeah. The main issue with this room is that the there's no real like physical guide to where this button is. It's not close. It's not right up against any wall. You can't just kind of feel around for it. There's not really a setup.
And of course, as soon as we say that, our wonderful Mr. Adirondack Rick says, looks too far to the right.
I mean, yeah.
Thanks, Rick. I truly feel like a scrub when you're.
Well, I mean, the visual cue is there. It's where the fireballs are coming from. If you know where those are coming from, then you can kind of figure it out from there. But it's really hard to do. So Android's going to forego that attempt and figure out what he's going to do.
So he dipped out, picking up some extra bottles. He's got the money, might as well.
Yeah. This might be one of those situations where if I'm about to attempt the dark rooms again, and I want to make sure I don't have to do this again, I would flute, or I would have saved and quit so I could keep those bottles in case I die again.
It looks like he's going. Is
right.
he? Could he be making the play up to Skullwoods?
It looks like it. I think he's realized that the one location the lamp can be.
Not on Mothula, but the green pendant. I think at this point he also realizes that because Pod is a pendant dungeon, then the bow. Oh, not the bow, but the lamp can't be on the pedestal. So.
All right, so Cookiepocalypse, he's gonna take the safety strat of opening the gate here.
Absolutely the right move if you're
worried
about.
There we go. Android picks up that key. So I think Cookie just did not know that the key was under the pot in Skullwoods. And Android not bothering with the chest because he knows it's not there. He's going straight for Mothula. Gonna pick up that green pendant.
Good chest counting by Android, knowing that and that was so long ago. Think about this. Android made the play on Skullwoods at about the 20-minute mark of this game. So it's been an hour and 40 minutes since he's last stepped foot in this. That's an incredible memory to be able to remember. Hey, I've already been here. I've already gotten everything from an hour 40 ago.
Yeah. It could also be very... Oh, and he gets grabbed. But yeah, it could also be very diligent use of his tracker. That's another... a lot of trackers will have chest location in with it.
Well, we'll credit him either way. I mean... Regardless, diligent tracker usage or diligent memory, either way, good job, Android.
Indeed. I'm particularly bad at updating my tracker as I'm playing. So I'm like, I can't move my hands.
So Cookie, at 2 hours, 3 minutes, and 15 seconds, is officially now in go mode.
Oh my goodness!
Floor Master gets him again.
Android getting wrecked by the Fall Masters, as I like to call them.
So Cookie, because of that play where he went to Mothula early to go ahead and get that lamp, was behind. I would say it was close, but I would say he's been playing from behind. Now he's in the lead.
Probably caught up at this point, because he's just got to take care of Eastern Palace. And that'll be a quick run, and he'll be on the way to Ganon. Whereas Android is going to finish off Mothula and then have to go back into Mire to finish that one off.
Yep, and to remind chat, these two competitors have been looking for effectively bow and lamp for about an hour now. They have had every other item necessary very quickly. I mean, Hammer took them a little bit of time, but they had Hookshot, Cane, Titansmith, Flippers, Moon Pearl. Everything was relatively quick in this seed. Cookie did spend a little bit longer than I think we would like getting the cane, because it was an ice rod cave of all places.
Also, Fire Rod was available very early on as well in Agonist Cave. So, plenty of early availability, but the bow, which is traditionally the first item you get in the original game, nope, it's on Trinex.
At this point, the runners have to be wondering to themselves. You can see them starting to make some mental mistakes, because I think they're both frustrated with themselves. Android is not having as clean of a kill on Mothula, even though this is a difficult boss. It's not as clean as we've seen him perform even in this run. Cookie's been behind, and playing from behind, maintaining a cool head through most of it. That might be the edge once we get up here to Ganon's Tower.
Yep. As far as our Ganon watch goes, Ganon's Tower, we've got Tempered Sword and Silver Arrows, so that is pretty good fight as far as Ganon goes.
Yep, no real intense Ganon strats. We don't have the bug net, so no swagging in.
That is true. Though it's quite possible, with all the locations we've checked, we will find the bug net in Ganon's Tower.
It's possible. We've checked just about everything. And
so,
Cookie...
just to troll us, the bug net will be under the shovel location.
Oh, of course it will.
I'm gonna be watching the credits. Boy catches bugs again, or...
And go mode for Android. So Cookie on his way up to Ganon's Tower. Android has to go over to Meyer with those frustration slashes. But with Cookie heading up to Ganon's Tower, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to see your guesses. Where is the big key in Ganon's Tower? Where do you think it's going to be here, Dr. Bob?
What do you think? With a name like Dr. Bob, where does it have to be? That's all I'm saying.
It's got to be at Bob for you, huh?
Yep, that is the 100% play there. However, if I'm going for troll, then it's Tile Room, because, this seed just says, let's make a tile room.
Yes, he does say that. I'm going to, usually I guess lamp, but I don't think it'll be that early. I'm going to go the fire bar room this time.
All right. Fire bar room is pretty good. I've only seen it there like once or twice.
I've seen a tile room run, I think my last commentary, so it was epic. And both runners saved it for last. It was great.
Mm-hmm. I have seen a tile room where one person checked it immediately and one person left it to the last, and that was the end of the match. That decided the match.
Oh, that would be heartbreaking. Meanwhile, Android's trying to get through Misery Mire as quickly as he can, playing from behind, and he probably knows it at this point in time, as long as he took checking that to get that lamp.
Mm-hmm. Alright, so Cookiepocalypse heading into the right-hand side. Gonna open up 2 chests here. We find a heart container and a 5-arrow upgrade. So no key on that side, so we cannot proceed to the right-hand side.
We see over here Android just tanking damage. He's not waiting. He knows he's behind. He's going as quickly as he can.
Indeed. So Bob lives today, because 50 rupees on the torch.
See, as we're going through here. Oh, Cookie wants that 10 arrows because he's only got 16 arrows and knows that he's got possibly an Armos fight, a Landmalus fight, not to mention Ganon, so he wants more arrows.
You've got those mimics that you have to kill with arrows as well. Alright, so 50 rupees in the firebar room. So, no dice on that prediction there.
The dream is dead. Meanwhile, Android, wasn't there to pick up the compass, so missed a little bit of time there, is now on his way up to Ganon's tower. A little bit behind. It'll be interesting if he does a right side strat. Well, he won't be able to. That's right.
Well, he could do something like the Dark Magician strat, where you go kill the first, or take the first 4 chests on the left side, and then use that key to head to the right.
It would be an interesting play. I think he knows he's behind, and he has to make a play. So, if you have to do that, he's checking his potions right now. 2 blues and a green, so he's set there.
Meanwhile, Cookiepocalypse heading over into the Randomizer room, so called because you only see it in Randomizer, and there's the butter sword. And the bug net. Haha!
What's going through your mind, Dr. Bob-tastic, knowing that you haven't seen a dot done yet from either of these players? If you know that you're still going, there's no dot done.
So, if I'm one of these players, if I'm Cookie, I'm thinking, oh, I bet my opponent knew how to do the dark rooms, and there's no way that he's not right close to done. And then Android is sitting there thinking, I didn't know how to do the dark rooms, and I bet my opponent either did or knew how to get that lamp earlier than I did. And is thinking, there's no way they're not almost done. So both of them are probably just nervous as all you can get out.
Oh, lag nights.
Yeah, it's good lag nights.
Nice quick kill though by Cookie. Well done. Keeping cool under pressure here.
And, oh, we have a right side big key, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, so we'll see. Android may be able to catch up. It'll be interesting. He'll be able to catch up, but he won't get Butter Sword if he does Dark Magician strat like Dr. Bob-tastic taught us. We'll see what the decision is.
Alright, so will Cookie try the tile room, or will he move directly on? He is piecing out.
That could go in his favor or not. We'll see.
I mean, I think a priori it's probably the better play, but, you know, it's possible that it might not pay off. All right.
Oh, and Cookie missing the torches. That's going to be a little bit rough on him.
Indeed. So one thing I would recommend remembering, if you find yourself in this room and don't have magic, there's a magic refill under one of those pots. Don't forget that. What?
I thought, huh? Oh, he missed this one.
Okay.
I thought he got it too for whatever reason. Oh, it glitched on him.
Yeah, that was interesting. One of the torches glitched and stayed lit. So that's a torch glitch you don't want to see.
That is unfortunate for Cookie, but there's the big key.
It's in the northeast chest in the...
Oh, and he's taking a death warp out.
Yep. It would refill some of the hearts and make it a little easier on the way back up. Alright, so Cookiepocalypse will be making his way up Ganon's tower. We have, between here and there, we've got rooms full of mimics, we've got the Gauntlet, we've got Landmolas 2, we've got Whiz Robes for days, and then finally Troll Dorm 2 on the way to Aga 2.
Troll Dorm 2, troll harder.
Indeed. And if you fall down, you get Trolldorm 3, Troll Hard with a Vengeance.
So, Android not gonna. I mean, it's the play that everyone I think would make is sticking with the normal strat because the likelihood is there for you. At the same time, we know it's not the right call, and he's not gonna have the opportunity to catch up. He will get his butter sword though.
Yep, Butter Sword's certainly helpful. Kind of cuts the number of slashes in half that you need to do on Ganon.
Yep. And it'll be interesting because from what we've seen in these razors, Cookie takes a little bit more damage than Android. And Android has the red mail and Cookie only has the blue mail. So Ganon might be a really interesting fight for these two because it's entirely possible that Android can make up the time if Cookie takes an inadvertent death somewhere.
Yep. So Cookie made his way into the fairy room in Ganon's Tower. A little secret fairy room off to the bottom that you bonk across. The existence of that room is the reason that the logic allows for bonks to be included in the logic. Because bonks are a developer-intended way to get around.
And that room proved it because, okay. Cookie doing a reasonably good job getting through this gauntlet here.
Oh yeah, making good use of the silver arrows to take out a lot of enemies. Using the fire rod strats on Landmolas because they can be kind of finicky to hit with those silver arrows. Oh, don't jinx him, man. Don't jinx him with that despawn glitch. Nobody wants to see that. That's another kind of torch glitch we don't want to see. So Android... okay. Yeah, there's also some fairies in that room above there. I thought he might go check the big chest just for fun. But he can't because he doesn't have the big key, so... Pff. Yeah, the Ganon's Tower big chest is another thing you only see in Entrance Shuffle.
I actually did see a Ganon's Tower big chest check. It wasn't too long ago. It was when both runners had only Master Sword and were silverless. So they were checking everything, trying to get through that.
Yeah, that could very well be a good move. Especially if you had to go down to Ice Armos anyway. Oh, so Android's going to be checking the tile room, and unfortunately that's not going to pay off.
With as trolly as this seed's been, I can't blame him for that particular decision, but he gets rewarded with some red rupees.
Indeed. Alright, so Android has a little bit of an opportunity to make up time here with this torch room.
Meanwhile, Cookie's on Trolldorm with a dash strat there, and...
So a dash and then anything but a poke will take out Moldorm here.
He gets him.
And
Android making his way.
And Cookie goes ahead and checks the final chest. Pretty sure he was certain that there wouldn't be anything in there, but we do it for you, the loyal viewers of our tournament here.
Cookie now at Aghanim, so Android will just be getting the big key right as Aghanim's getting started. I'm still disappointed no Aghanim strats.
Key in 3, 2, 1. There it is.
Ooh, the 3-hit for Cookie. Well done. Good
Woohoo.
placement so far.
And there's another single. And
So we got 1, 3, 1, 1.
Alrighty. So, Cookiepocalypse will be heading to the Ganon fight.
If you're Android, you're wondering what's going on. Still no dot done at 2 hours and 20 minutes. Cookie, I'm not going to call this an upset, but I'm definitely going to call this a come from behind victory if Cookie can pull this off.
Indeed. So Cookie's using spins a little bit there. You can get a couple of hits doing that if you're at the very bottom of the stage. And Cookie quickly makes his way into phase 3 of the Ganon fight.
Well done fight so far for Cookie. If he can get this... the Ganon fight is one of those fights that just about everyone practices until they're blue in the face. No pun intended. If he can just prevent being knocked down, I think that's Android's only shot at this point.
Fall to Ganon would even this up pretty well. Did you find the arrows in Hyrule Castle? We did, in fact, find them. And so...
Torch glitch.
Torch glitch. The good torch glitch this time. And missing a shot of the silver arrows. This will be 1. But you can't really hit him once he's up against the wall. And that's 2.
Oh, missing again. Ouch. Oh, what a fall! Wow, Cookie takes a fall. This could be huge.
It might take a little more than that just to truly catch up, but still.
We have a race here, ladies and gentlemen, though.
Cookie's probably shaking right now.
You know, I don't know anyone who wouldn't be shaking here.
And Ganon just throwing the shade.
More encouraged about thinking outside the box when we show more people thinking inside of it. Ouch. Is that a direct quote from something? I'm curious.
I am not certain. Alright, so there's the first hit on the third phase of Ganon. Getting real trolled by teleports in the first part.
And I just did a quick Google search. It is from Terry Pratchett.
Ah, Terry Pratchett. Yeah, that.
I should expect nothing less from a bunch of nerds like us.
Alright. Cookiepocalypse once again pulling off the torch glitch. Hopefully, we will not see any falls. Getting a silverless hit for a second there.
I hope he remembers. Oh, he only has 7 arrows. I think he's worried.
I think he's doing silverless Ganon for no reason.
What is he doing? This might be, someone who's more comfortable with silverless Ganon strats than actual silver Ganon?
It's possible.
And another fall! Oh my god!
We have a race, ladies and gentlemen. Android will be going across, opening the chest.
Android,
just past
all he has to do,
two.
he's going to be right there. 2 falls for Cookiepocalypse. He's got 7 arrows left. We did say earlier in the race that he was trying to get those 10 arrows and he couldn't get it. He was worried about his arrow count. Android has plenty of arrows. He's just got to get by Aghanim. If Cookie makes any more mistakes, this could be Android's race.
And you will also note, Android only has 4 hearts. And I don't believe he caught any of the fairies that he used. That he picked up.
And he skipped the tree fairy that's down outside the pyramid.
So Cookie's going to want to avoid Ganon hugs and fire bats. He's doing a pretty good job of it.
He is doing a very good job of it, but we just can't avoid any more mistakes, Cookie. And if he continues to do silverless strats, whereas Android doesn't and has plenty of arrows, we could see a very down-to-the-wire race here.
Oh my goodness. This is super exciting.
This is so hype, ladies and gentlemen. You need to be here. So, Android about to start Ganon fight. Cookie on phase 3. He has silvers, but we don't know if he realizes. Oh, he does. Let's hope. Okay, man, this is close.
2 arrows there. Oh my. I do
almost.
He doesn't waste all his arrows.
Oh, okay, that was 1. He's got 1 arrow left. Oh, and he takes a hit. Oh, man.
And there it is.
And he's okay.
Cookie,
don't fall, Cookie.
Very last arrow to put the.
Oh my God. So good. Don't pull a Willard. Don't fall down.
I think he's far enough down that it will spawn for him.
Okay. Whew.
And
GG, Cookiepocalypse.
Finishing in first place with a time of 2 hours, 26 minutes, and 56 seconds.
That was incredibly close. Android finishing it up. Let's see if we can get Cookie in here. What a close race, ladies and gentlemen. Android leads most of it. Dips out, trying to do dark rooms, can't do it. Lets Cookie catch up and pass him that bow and lamp waiting for go mode. My goodness. Cookie catches up, but lets Android get back into it with not 1, but 2 falls from Ganon. Whew.
I mean, you couldn't really ask for a much closer situation after 2.5 hours.
And Android finishes with a time of 2 hours, 28 minutes, and 29 seconds. So, a minute and a half behind Cookie.
Whew. You know, at the beginning of this race, I was sitting here thinking it was going to be one of those boring, really easy seeds. And what do you know? It just kept going and going and going. It was the Energizer seed.
It's one of those seeds where you're really excited early on in the match because of all the items that they get. The seed just opened up. But then, the bow and the lamp. The bow in Trinex in a pendant dungeon for Turtle Rock. And the lamp being hidden by Sahasrara from a green pendant in Skullwoods. How trolly can this be?
So, there's your shovel answer. Just love under the shovel spot. And it looks like one of our competitors has joined us. Hello.
Nope, we had actually Felix had to dip out, unfortunately.
One of our competitors has left us, or our streamers has left us. So there we go. All right. So it looked. I cannot believe the craziness.
Android. Okay, Android doesn't have a mic, so unfortunately we're not going to be able to do a live interview with him. I'm hoping to get Cookie in here because, my goodness, what a run. Android, if you're listening in, GG, the darkroom stats you tried, and that was the difference in this. It's only a minute and a half difference. It was so exciting watching the two of you back and forth. Android, again, leading it for most of the race. The switch came when Cookiepocalypse made the early call to check Sahasrara's pendant from Mothula, getting that lamp and unlocking all the dark rooms that he avoided up until that point in time. He had not done a single dark room, ladies and gentlemen, not a single one. He let the logic play for himself.
Yeah, sometimes following the logic pays off. It's very risky in some cases.
Sailor Jade asks, was there anything in Pod? No, there was Jack in Pod.
The best item in Pod was the powder. Yeah, the button there in the dark room in Pod is very finicky about getting it lined up, especially when you can't see where you are.
And it's wonderful because Android, after that you had fallen behind, but Cookie fell not once but twice to Ganon, and you were right there. You were starting it while he started phase 3, I believe. And he had done his previous one, he had started doing Silverless, so we thought you'd be able to catch up.
There was you can't really ask for a much closer race when both players are on Ganon at the same time.
Yep. Time Stalker points out Cookie's last arrow. It was his last shot. And keep in mind, he did pick up the validation arrow from the digging game. That arrow, that single arrow, was the one that killed Ganon this time.
Listen, if you had one shot, one chance to kill Ganon, would you take it or just let it slip?
Oh! and that's absolutely right, Android. He did no dark rooms. Also, shout out to the Eminem reference there from my co-commentator, Dr. Bobtastic here.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I don't believe there was any spaghetti. But
you know what? I'm going to say... No offense to Cookiepocalypse. I'm going to say the first two Ganon fights were nothing but spaghetti. Just spaghetti all over your face. It was just a mess.
I just now noticed there's a Zora on this tracker.
Yeah, I like this tracker, actually. It's quite good. The only thing I wish it had was a half magic tracker.
Well,
it doesn't look like we're going to get either Cookiepocalypse or Android412 into our restream. Thank you, everyone, for listening in. This match has been so hype. Please take some time, give our wonderful restreamer Felix the Cat a follow. We also have our restreamer was Alvi.
Right.
Our tracker was Felix the Cat. And these two wonderful racers, Cookiepocalypse and Android412. this race has earned your follow for these two, I think.
Indeed. Just the sort of determination it takes to complete a seed like this. Pretty sure I would have thrown something at a wall.
You're not the only one. I would have dot forfeit after a while, after not finding the lamp until after Mothula. That's enough for me.
All right, so let's take a look at what's coming up.
Let's see here on Randomizer 2 at well, I don't know if it's. Let me see. We do have Lord of the Synth versus Historian Frank. I'm not seeing that has been scheduled yet, but I know they were calling people out. On Randomizer 2, we have Lewd Dolphin versus the Panda 1016. There's just chock full of action tonight, guys. If you're not watching Randomizer, it's because you're not trying. There's a lot of games.
It looks like there are a couple of races, one on Randomizer Mania and one on Randomizer Mania 2. Flaffykins versus Wef Jebster, and then, as you said before, the Lewd Dolphin versus the Panda 1016. We've also got the main tournament going on right now, and in the main tournament, we've got coming up shortly, we'll have Sidarial versus Hippos and Peekabells versus Drunken Draconian, both being shown on Speed Gaming. That'll be a 4-for stream.
Yep. And going on right now, actually, Walking Eye versus Zero Rush going on over at Speed Gaming 4. Directly after that, at 9 o'clock Eastern on Speed Gaming 4, we have Oh Hey It's David versus Parisian Player. Just so much randomizer going on tonight, guys. I'm not going to say you're going to get your fill of randomizer, but you could have 5 or 6 monitors up all watching it if you're. Serious.
Very good point. All right, so Vitasia, thank you very much for commentating with me. I hope we're entertaining for you, and we got ourselves an interesting tournament that we will hopefully be able to continue providing coverage for all of you wonderful people out there.
Yep, and thank you to my co-commentator, Dr. Bob Tastic. This has been a phenomenal race to comment on. Thank you so much for sticking with us in it, and stick around for more randomizer action coming your way here directly. Thank you so much, everyone. Have a good night, and good luck.
Goodbye, everybody.